In the high-stakes game of naval warfare, sometimes a single new weapon can change all the rules. And today, we're diving into a new missile that has some of the world's most powerful navies sitting up and paying very close attention. Welcome to The Explainer.
So let's just get right to it. Here's the question that's really got defense analysts talking. Could a new missile actually sink a U.S. aircraft carrier? It's a question that's suddenly become a lot more urgent, all because of a new piece of military hardware.
So back in February 2025, Iran announced a weapon that seems to be designed for one thing, to take on the biggest, most powerful ships out there, aircraft carriers. It's called the Ghadr 380.
Now you have to understand, this isn't just about defending your own coastline anymore. The Ghadr 380 represents a huge strategic shift. It gives Iran what's called a standoff capability, which is just a fancy way of saying they can reach out and touch targets from a very, very long way away, pushing their threat bubble way out into the open ocean.
Okay, so what makes this thing so special? What's under the hood? Let's take a closer look at the tech that makes the Ghadr 380 the sword in this whole scenario.
See, it's not just one feature that makes it a threat, it's the whole package. It's got that incredible range, sure, but it's also smart. It has its own guidance systems that can find a target on their own. On top of that, it's built to resist electronic jamming, which is a huge deal. Plus, they can get it ready to fire in under 5 minutes from all sorts of different launchers. It's a very tricky problem.
And just look at this chart for a second. The leap in range is, well, it's massive. We're talking about going from around 300 kilometers with their older systems to a full 1,000 kilometers. That more than triples the size of the danger zone for any Navy operating nearby. It completely changes the map.
And here's the really clever part. These missiles aren't just sitting in some obvious silo waiting to be found. Nope, they're on mobile trucks, and they can be hidden away in these huge fortified underground tunnel networks. That makes finding them and taking them out before they can launch an absolute nightmare.
Okay, so that's the sword. It's long, sharp, and hard to stop. But what about the shield? A U.S. carrier strike group is, without a doubt, one of the most heavily defended fortresses on Earth, with layers upon layers of systems designed to stop exactly this kind of threat.
So how do you stop a missile like this? Well, you don't just build one wall, you build 4. Think of it like a series of defensive rings. Way out, hundreds of miles away, you have fighter jets as your first line. If a missile gets past them, it has to face interceptors from the carrier's escort ships, firing from the legendary Aegis system. If it still gets through, the ships have their own last-resort Gatling guns that fire thousands of rounds a minute. And the whole time, a storm of electronic warfare is trying to fry the missile's brain and send it off course.
The whole philosophy here is just to wear the attack down. You're trying to thin the herd, right? Each layer is designed to pick off a few more of the incoming missiles, so that hopefully, by the time the swarm gets close to the actual carrier, there's nothing left. So we've got this incredible sword and this incredible shield, but this battle isn't just about technology versus technology, it's about strategy. And it's a high-stakes game of numbers, where the math can get a little lopsided. You see, a weapon like the Ghadr 380 is a perfect example of what military planners call anti-access/area denial, or A2/AD. The idea is simple. Create a giant no-go zone. You use the threat of the missile to keep your enemy far away, limiting their options and basically denying them control of a huge patch of ocean. And here is where the math gets really scary. A single aircraft carrier costs billions of dollars. It's the crown jewel. The missiles trying to sink it, they cost a tiny fraction of that. This creates a really tough situation. The defender systems, all those layers we talked about, they have to be perfect, 100% successful every single time. But the attacker, they only need 1 or 2 missiles from a whole swarm to get through. They just have to get lucky once.
And that really gets to the heart of why this matters so much. An aircraft carrier is way more than just a ship. It's a symbol of national power, a piece of floating territory. It's the queen on the chessboard. Losing one, or even just having one badly damaged, would be an absolutely monumental political and military event.
So with all this mind-bending technology on both sides, who actually wins? Well, that brings us to the ultimate unanswered question at the center of all of this.
And here's the thing. For all the war games, the computer simulations, the strategy papers, none of this has ever really been tested. Not for real. An advanced missile swarm against a fully prepared U.S. carrier strike group? It's never happened. It's all theory. And that deep, profound uncertainty is, in its own way, a pretty powerful deterrent for everybody involved.
So, where does that leave us? In this new age of long-range warfare, who really has the upper hand? Is it the ever-sharpening sword or the ever-strengthening shield?
As technology keeps pushing the boundaries, that's the question that will probably be keeping strategists up at night for a long, long time.